welcome to Mudrunner, a Spintires game. Trust me, that is the actual name of the actual game. Physically, it comes up on my, just take a look. So, what is Mudrunners? Well, you all may be thinking, oh great, here we go, it's another driving game, or it's another one of these games, and blah blah blah. It's a simulation game for mudplugging, a hobby that some people do. They get their truck, jeep, whatever it is, as long as it's got some wheels and it's able to get through some steep mud, and they drive it through. Now, in Mudrunner, you have a job to do, obviously, because you can't just drive around aimlessly in a game, because that's boring. No, you have to transport garage parts to unlock further parts of the map, fuel to fuel up your vehicles, and logs to win the game. So, let's try and get through as much of this in such a short time as possible. Okay, when you start, you'll be presented with your three vehicles. You'll have all three vehicles will be outside of a garage, and this is where you can upgrade. Well, I say upgrade, it's more like put the equipment onto your vehicle. So, for example, you have loads of different types of cargo that you can carry. For example, you can carry a fuel cistern, which basically carries fuel for your other vehicles, but you can also make it larger so that you can take more. So, obviously, you know, the normal one carries 900, the other one carries 3,200, so tons more. Right, so you also get pieces of cargo that actually carry parts for other garages. Now, this makes no sense, obviously, but actually, what happens is that if you look around the map, which you will do when you push the touchpad on the PS, you'll see a garage over here. Now this garage is locked. The only way to unlock a garage is by going up to it with a garage vehicle, garage load. So for example, garage parts, garage cart, or garage semi-trailer. Each one will carry a different amount of points. So that little cart carries 1 point, the parts carry 2 parts, and the garage semi-trailer carries 4. Obvious difference. And also you get the cart, the big fucking caravan. Next, you have log carriages. The only way to fill these up is you need to go to a log station or log kiosk, which is one of these or one of these. Now, basically, you have loads of different types of that. So basically, you've got log carriage, you've got log carrier, which is basically enabling you to use a longer cart. So basically, I would be able to attach the medium cart and I'd be able to use medium logs instead of just the short ones. You can also add a trailer, a spare wheel, which I'll do now because everyone loves spare wheels. You can add a trailer hitch to add one of those bigger trailers on, which is the ones that say that they're unavailable. Utility attachment. So this is your repair point. So if your vehicle is damaged, you can then use the utility to repair your vehicle. Utility semi-trailer has fuel as well as repair points. Utility trailer, same thing basically, and that's that for this big guy. When you're driving, you'll find that you won't be able to start moving straight away. Well, that's because you've got the parking brake on. Now, again, you'll notice you're struggling to move, so you put the diff lock on. And if you've realised that you're going super slow, then you put the all wheels on and you'll speed up a lot quicker. Now notice in the corner there is a gear shifter with the words gear and then 1 to 5. So this vehicle has 5 gears, lucky me. And yeah, well, basically what it will do is as I'm driving along, it just won't, it will just change gear when I need it or not. To be fair, it's one of the most inefficient gears on the game. I prefer to keep it in I like to keep the button ready to go. So for example, if and when I get stuck, I can then switch gears. This comes in very handy, trust me, because when you're in crawl, which you can change into, it's very easy to do so in this game, you'll be able, there we go, no, not stuck yet. So basically, when I get into crawl, actually what I'll do. Now, here's the situation that I was trying to talk to you about earlier. I am now officially stuck. I cannot move because I've dug myself a hole in this water. So what I do is I click onto the right analog stick and I bring it up to the second part of gear 1. and this puts it into crawl. This is much slower than using your automatic gearbox. It will always be slower than using your automatic gearbox, but there is one bonus to this. You cannot get stuck in crawl. Well, you can, it's just very hard to. Now, then we find, you got first person mode as well, so yeah. Now, there'll be several things that you'll need to know about when you're playing this game. Is that basically there are different types of surfaces. The surface I'm on is great for automatic because basically I can just keep it there and it will keep on going. Sometimes there are hills that provide trouble, and sometimes you're in off-road situations where the vehicle will not go anywhere without help. Now, normally what you'd do is you'd think, okay, I'll just get another car and just push it out because it's a driving game, so technically I can just grab another car. Yeah, fair enough, you can grab another car, and that would be a very simple solution. But there is a quicker way. Instead of driving another car all the way to your stuck vehicle, you can use something called the winch. So basically, say you're stuck, which I'm not, but we'll just say I am, and you can press triangle, and this little screen pops up where basically I can attach myself to any tree I decide and press triangle. Press triangle, so the winch is attached. Now, technically, under my own power, that won't do anything, but if I press the triangle button, it will start pulling me out. So it's very useful. A useful tool to get you out of sticky situations. Right. The other thing about this game that is really good is the physics. Now, normally in video games when nighttime rolls along, you don't need to turn your lights on. I mean, for example, you're playing GTA and you decide, you know what, it's nighttime, I need to put my lights on. No, you don't, because there's always lights around you. So you're always going to be able to see, and also there's always somehow just enough light during the night to be able to see even without lights. On this game, however, you do have night. Now, unlike in GTA, you aren't benefited with an ambient amount of light. So you will get stuck. You won't be able to see. So the lights on this game are very useful, as I will show you now. So, here we go. So, as it's getting darker and darker, eventually it's going to become, because the sun's still up, so at the moment it's going to be a while till we actually get the lights on properly. So, as we're here driving for a bit while waiting for the freaking night to get so dark that I can't see ahead of me. Go down, will you? Anyway, so basically we're going to go through a couple of the main menu options while we're driving. So, main thing to remember is there are only 4 playable modes. Well, I say modes, they're more options. Okay, so you have, first off, you have single player, which is basically, it's like in Payday where you have friends only or private sessions. Basically, in single player, there is absolutely no way. It's like playing offline on Payday. There is absolutely no way anyone can actually join you. It's impossible for them to join you on this game mode. Then you have multiplayer, which again, like Payday, same sort of system. You can make it friends only, so they can join your session. It's not actually like a private session. They will just be able to join you without you asking them to. Or you can go into a public. I've never gone into a public. I've done a private session. It's been quite funny. Anyway, then you've got challenges. Challenges are your little... They're annoying. Okay, they're another version of a tutorial, which again is another mode. The tutorials... The original tutorial is rather easy because, to be fair, it's got to teach you the basics of the game, but it doesn't teach you some advanced stuff like attaching trailers and winches and how to park a trailer. To be fair, parking a trailer is just your experience, really. You have to experience it for yourself to be able to do it properly. Now, as I said, there's a few things that it needs to teach you, but unfortunately, in challenges, it gets a little harder than you'd think. It is a lot harder than it it sounds. Anyway, you get a 3-star system for every mission, and for every mission you complete, you get 3 stars for it, and you get an achievement if you completely complete them. Anything else I need to add? Don't think so. So, I prefer to learn through doing. So basically, after doing the challenges and learning some of the absolute basics, I jumped onto a single player mission and did alright, and hardly needed a single thing that it taught me except for crawl and how to use the winch with other vehicles. That's it. That's literally all I needed it for. Okay, so as you can see, it's gotten pretty dark. So it's I've only got like a foot ahead of me, maybe. Not very far. Now this is where the lights come into play. You press the L1 button, and you can see everything. Because before, I couldn't even see that. I thought there was just 2 trees there, but no, there's actually an entire forest. So that's where that comes in handy. Now, obviously, what you're kind of expecting, you're probably going to turn around and go, okay, so you've just been driving around in a little Jeep so far and driving on mud, so what's there to this game? There's a lot to it. There is a lot. And that's where the conclusion is going to come into. But anyway, so there are funny moments in this game, and you've got to learn how to fjord so basically, if you ever want to become an off-road driver, do not pay attention too much to this game. I play it on casual because I just don't like fucking myself over. So, while you can learn some things about off-road driving, you just have to bear in mind that this is just a simulation, and there's only so many things to be able to simulate with the visuals. Now, on this game, the visuals are okay. I know I keep bringing up Payday, but to be fair, Payday is a good example to use. Payday, even on the PS4, hasn't got the greatest graphics in the world, but it pulls off what it tries to do, which is exactly what is going on here. This game is not a stunner. It really isn't. When you look at it, you just think, okay, this is just an indie game that should be on a PC, really, not a bloody console. And you're not wrong, this is an indie game, because it's not very expensive and it's not very big. It's £29 upon release, so it wasn't that expensive. And it hasn't got very many missions, so it's not got much replayability, and it hasn't. I'm just going back to the basic visuals because I'm going sidetracked. So, what this does is it pulls off the indie game look which it needs to do, because to be fair, if it didn't pull off any look at all and looked crap, no one would have fucking bought it. The visuals are absolutely stunning, mainly because if you're near water and the sun's coming up, or at night, it looks bloody spooky. It looks like you're about to bloody die of a horror film or something like that. Oh, die of a horror film. You're about to get killed by some horror film villain. And that's quite cool. When the sun's coming up, when you're near water, the ripples on the water, it reflects it properly. When you're going through a forest, it dapples the light. The mud. Hello, if they didn't get the mud physics right, which is what this game's all about, they'd have failed what they were doing. So, yeah. Next, we have, not even bloody... So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to be fair on it. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Reason for this is mainly, it's not a stunner. It doesn't look beautiful. It's not Shadow of Mordor or Assassin's Creed Origins. It's Payday sort of thing. It's Payday territory. Dead by Daylight, or, to be fair, Raid's rubbish. We'll get onto that at another date. So it's a 6 out of 10 for this game. Now you come to gameplay. Now the gameplay, as you can imagine, isn't that diverse. It's you driving a truck through a forest, a pond, a lake, a river, and try not to get stuck. Yeah, that's about it really. That is literally the extent of this game. So, one thing you'll come to realise about this is that, again, there isn't much replayability. Now we can get onto this bit. There isn't much replayability, so you rely on having friends to play it with. Now, this is the one issue, is that mainly if you've all got to play the tutorial to understand how to play it, it gets very hard to understand, because if you think about it, some of the friends will complete the tutorial really quickly because they'll take to it really quickly, but not all friends will do it really easily because they are quite challenging, the challenges and the tutorial. And fair enough, that's quite good. But when you find it difficult to complete the tutorial, you kind of get put off playing the game. And the amount of frustration you get out of this game is ludicrous. It is ridiculously annoying. So, yeah. But, on the other hand, the controls are pretty damn tight. I mean, really goddamn tight. They're really easy to use. It's not like any... So, for example, another simulator I've played at some point what is Train Simulator. Now, Train Simulator is rather simple, but at the same time really difficult. Mainly because of the amount of controls you have. Now, you may be going, oh, what does... You know, how the hell does... Train Simulator fucking relate? Well, it's a simulator, and its controls are incredibly difficult to use. Whereas on this, it's really simple. It's basically normal driving car game controls. But you also have to make sure that, you've got your gear in the right place. You've got to make sure that you've got the right fuel. You've got to make sure you've got no damage to your vehicle, that sort of thing. There's a load of stuff you have to make sure that you have sorted. If you don't, you're going to get killed. So, for me, and also, yeah, the vehicles, very diverse, but except there are a few that are completely useless and you just don't use because they do not serve a purpose. So, that's an annoying thing. And also, there's very little, so which is why I'm hoping for a bit of DLC. And the missions, there's only 6 of them, so you end them really quickly. Which is also a side note to visuals. They look pretty damn good. Right, gameplay, I'm going to award a 5 out of 10. Mainly because the tutorials are difficult and it hasn't got much replayability. So if you play it once, all the way through all 6 missions, then you get bored pretty quickly. Rather simple. Now, we're getting on to the game. So there's the actual game. The actual game. Right, let's try that again. Right. For the game, right, itself. The challenge, the enjoyment you can get out of it, and, to be fair, can you get a laugh out of it is is the main question out of the game. And, does it hold up as a game? So, in my opinion, this game is very, very challenging. Now, normally, in casual, you don't have very much trouble getting from A to B. But in hardcore mode, it's one of the hardest things in the world to try and get anywhere. So that's where the game's challenge comes in, is you have to plan where you're going very carefully or you're going to crash and die a lot. No exaggeration, you're going to crash and die a lot. So that's where the game's challenge comes in. It's very unique. And again, the challenges, yes, fair enough, they're supposed to be an actual part of the tutorial, which, to be fair, it should not provide instructions on how to actually play the game. It should have multiple levels for tutorial and just keep the challenges completely separate. So, as you're going through, you'll also realise is that this game, like most games, is more fun when you're playing it with a friend. So normally I have Drunk Dragon, but today I've decided to just do this on my own as a solo, just to show you, to be fair, just a quick review to be fair. Now, one of the main characteristics of this game is that, as I said before with the gameplay, is the controls are pretty damn tight. There's no lag, there's no frame rate issues. I mean, it's quite fun when you can get up to speed as well. So that's nice as well. And also it's really funny when you get a ding in your bloody vehicle. Now, one of the issues, it is a laugh, but when you're not trying to play it. me out. When you're trying to collect logs and you're trying to, complete mission objectives like find the watch points or find, the fuel stations and that sort of thing, fill up the garages and fueling and that sort of thing. One issue you find in this game is its ludicrous difficulty in those respects. So, for example, just to try and load up your trailer, you have to get your thing, and I mean, the game is almost OCD how much you need to get it straight. You need to get your vehicle so straight that, if a fucking inspector came along, he would, if the freaking vehicle was a school, the inspector would be able to come along and say, yep, this is one of the best schools in the country. Literally. That is the best freaking comparison I can come up with. If your thing is not as freaking straight as a fucking best school in the bloody UK, well, I'm sorry, mate, you're a bit crooked and you're not going to get any logs on your fucking back, that's for damn sure. And therefore it involves a lot of rage quitting and annoyance. So, game is going to be a 7 out of 10. So, in the actual game, what ends up happening is normally... Right, so just got to get across this. So yeah, what normally happens when you're playing this game is you've got to make sure that you're not cocking up too badly. Oh, fuck.